Okay, so that's the end of our official recording. But you have any questions to ask? Who wants to ask a quiz question?
So is this where it cuts?
Okay, this will be the blooper reel.
No, I just want to say that
both of you are so great. You know, really, I had to say, I really don't know what to expect.
Of?
Yeah, both in terms of the students and in terms of, I asked Nick to help me find 2 students who probably can do, do an okay job. But beyond that, I mean, it's like,
that's not what he said.
I have no idea what you're going to say. I mean, right?
I mean, thanks for your faith in us.
Yeah, but I think the integrated modules, as you know, we just started, and inevitably there are going to be some teething issues, and I know I met some of the integrated module tutors. In fact, one of them used to be my former student, Jeffrey. Yeah. So from it's very interesting, right? So he was a philosophy major, but he ended up as a tutor for the HSI or the HSI. Say HSI? Yeah, HSI, right?
Yes,
the science integrated module.
Scientific inquiry 1. Yeah.
Yep. I think we are all trying to find our footing. And I'm being very serious when I say in the tutorials that we appreciate feedback, honest feedback, even if it's negative, right? And for me, it's like, especially if it's negative, because, over my years as a GEQ tutor, right, you learn so much about like confirmation bias, right? Sometimes, it's like you read all these nice things that are being said about the module, and you're like, okay, we're doing a good job, but you just don't really look at the really important, perhaps minority views, right? So I think it's very important just make it a point to take a look at perhaps even the minority of views that are extremely critical, right? Maybe, and there might be something there, and all this is done with the intention to improve the module. Yeah, I think right now I think Prof Loy probably has been thinking about this module for more than a year already. Am I right? I mean, for me, I've been thinking about it for close to a year.
When did I talk to you?
It's really about now, actually.
No, it's earlier. It's earlier. Should be earlier than this.
Nah, well, okay, I would say it's sometime in September, right?
Okay.
So I was actually asked to, by Prof Loy, whether I'll be interested to teach for this module. And I mean, at the end of that meeting, I remember I said to him, it's not really whether, I should say yes, but do I have any reason to say no? So I think I was very excited and thinking a lot about how this module would look. And I think I really mean it when I say I really care about these issues. And yeah, I think it's really wonderful privilege for me to be able to talk to all of you about them. Yeah.
Put out my hand to say that I want to do this module. I think maybe June, I can't remember already. It's earlier than September, I'm very sure of it. Yeah.
It has to be.
And then of course I checked with Huang Hun and all that first. And then when she said yes, then I talked to you. Right. In fact, he was the first one I thought of. He wasn't the only one, but he was the first one I thought of. I knew that he's definitely would be like, oh my goodness, I want this, I want to do this. My ex-student, I should know.
Yeah, Huang Hun was my former boss, and as you know, I was formerly in the GE module called Asking Questions. I told all of you about that. I enjoyed that because in some sense, right, it was extremely interdisciplinary too, right?
Yeah.
So we introduced people to 5 different disciplines that are supposed to be representative of large parts of the university. So for instance, representing humanities was philosophy, because it was a philosophy.
It's harder because it's too much.
Yeah, it was tough, and I think it was a hard sell. And some students still, I see them and it's like, hey, you took GEQ, right? What do you think about the module? Sometimes some of them are still like, I don't know why I did that. I didn't know why I have to do it. And I think some people feel as if they had no choice. So I think I come from like 3.5 years, almost 4 years of knowing that students might have a bit of resistance because this module was allocated to them, right? And they have to do it. So I'm very, very mindful of that. And really, we will appreciate feedback about, right? If you feel that way, what has helped you get over that initial, perhaps, feeling.
Anything you want to tell us that you think is that we should know?
I mean, to answer next question about like what was the thing that made us change our minds about, being forced to do this module. I think the first reading really captured my attention. I mean, there's a reason why I wrote a sequel to it.
It's a hook, right? Yeah, get the right hook.
Yes. I mean, it feels weird to say. Yes, basically. I can't believe I have to say this, but yeah, the first reading really hooked me. Omelas is just a very great first stepping stone into this module, and it really makes us think. I mean, it's quite obvious, kind of, that it reflects, although a rather blurry reflection, the modern society and how we exploit other people to get the stuff that we want and all the creaturely comforts that we have today. But those are going in this.
I think, how do you get over this, like, how should I say, feeling, right, that this was forced upon me, right? And that's what you were saying, and you said that the Omelas reading really helped.
Yeah, it relates a lot to modern society. So because of the relevance, because of how we can relate to the reading and all that, I think that's what really made us change our mind, or at least for me lah. That's how it worked.
No, thanks for that. It confirms certain suspicions of mine, but it's always good to hear it from the students themselves. Now, in one manner of speaking, it's not rocket science. Your first topic has got to work. Yeah, so that's not rocket science. But pulling it off actually is not as easy as people think. Yeah.
I need to say, if you put Hin Swaraj as the first...
No, I would never do that.
Yeah, no, there's no way the model is going to fly.
That one is too obvious, right? But knowing that you cannot put Hin Swaraj first doesn't mean that you know what to put first. That's a different story.
Yeah,
so hunting for that thing was a little bit of a luck, and there's a bit of luck involved.
Yeah. I totally agree. I was going to say, yes, we thought very hard about this. You will not believe the amount of back and forth, right, on this issue between the first few people who were involved in this course. But we have to admit, we have to confess that, sometimes it's just down to luck, right? Because we were really, really struggling as to what to pick for the first piece.
Months, actually. Because the initial team was just 3 of us first before the rest were hired. But even before they were hired, we were already having every two weeks, we were having meetings, to trash certain things out, to think through, conceptualize. Like, it's all the thinking thing. It's not the necessary filling in details yet. And we changed our mind over many of the items. Right? In many of the items, actually, we completely switch around and don't know what, right? And sometimes there's a bit of luck. Sometimes it's just about, okay, who's available? So by the time we know that, okay, the module is going to run, who is available now? Okay, you know what? Let's not overthink this. You are very good at doing this. Why don't you do this? And so there are all these different factors. And we never stop, so to speak. And it's not going to stop, by the way. But end of this semester, we are totally going to do our own internal review and ask ourselves what needs to adjust, what needs to reshuffle. We probably won't do a major reshuffle, but it's not impossible. Now we know Omelas definitely work as a first reading. That one is
definitely. Because I think this issue of ethics is not really just applicable to humanities students. It's very applicable to science also. Yes. And so it really is something that everyone can understand and agree upon, like the issue of ethics here.
Yeah. Even if they don't agree on the answer, they can agree that it is something that we care about.
Maybe next time our first piece should be on like animal testing or something like that.
That's a bit too much.
Might be a bit too dry.
Maybe a bit too much.
Yeah.
Maybe as a topic in the subsequent weeks, but not the first one.
Yeah.
We do have an animal week.
Yeah.
End of the semester. You didn't notice?
I mean, I didn't really read through. I skimmed through the learning flow, but I didn't read through everything. Sorry.
I think that topic is going to be quite controversial.
That one is going to be controversial. That one is going to come right at the end. There will be no tutorial for that. We only plan 1 week for it. In a way, it's a test bed. We're just trying to see whether it works.
It's so fun.
It's going to be about it's not animal testing. It's going to be about the way. What's the correct way to say it? A certain way of thinking about. Yeah, this is quite horrible, about women and animals, actually, right? So it's both, there's both a feminist edge to it and also an animals thing to it, actually. We just want to try it 1 week, only just 1 week, okay? We also, sometimes we are more confident of doing certain things than others. and we're trying to try around. And okay, now mind, we have this 1 week, no tutorials after that already. Let's see how this goes. Yeah.
I mean, if you remember that quote, right? I don't know whether I shared this. See, it's like I teach 9 classes, right? I don't know in which class I said what, but I think I said this enough times. Aristotle, there was a quote from Aristotle's Politics. That, you know, those that are not in need of cities, right? They're either gods or beasts. You know, so on the one hand, you have animals, right? On the other hand, you have like, you know, you're striving to something that's superhuman, perhaps, right? And I suggested in class, right, that it might be inhuman, right, through the Orwell reading. So it's really interesting, that contrast. It seems like we're torn between these 2 points of view, right? The animal, right, and perhaps something superhuman. And here we are, right? I think that really lays it out quite nicely.
Yeah, here we are on Zoom. Okay, so good to have the 2 of you with us, and likewise you, Nick. I really, really appreciate this. And I hope that what we have done today will benefit the students, help them a bit more at ease, and, you know, and to get a little bit more into the topics, right? Yeah.
Loy,
Right.
Sorry?
Go ahead. Yeah.
No, I said, do you think we should do a focus group kind of thing at the end of the year? End of the first semester?
Of course, then. Okay. It's all in my, you know, I've done all this before, please. Right? So there's going to be at least 3 major surveys throughout the whole semester. And then after that, we're going to find, last survey will ask you who want to be volunteered to be focus group. Yeah. So this is not news to me. Don't get me wrong. So it's not like things that I have not done before. I've totally done it before. I'm even willing to use research money to do it. Okay, you know. Yeah. You know?
No, I think at the end of the day, if it benefits students, right? I mean, it's a legitimate spend.
So here's where you want me to explain how the research money get involved. This is a research process for me. I treat teaching a class, especially a big class, almost like a research process. You know, it's like you're my experiment. I need to know if I tweak this, you know, variable, what's going to happen. That's the way I think when, right? The outcome is I want a certain learning outcome produced, and am I achieving it? You know, now of course there is a part of me that's also more on the art side, in the sense that I know that I'm thinking a little bit more like a social scientist when I think like that. But at the same time, if that's the only way you can think, you won't be able to run a class properly, because we are still people. You need to relate to people. You need to make them feel like this is something that's worth doing. And that's not just a matter of an RCT. Sorry. Yeah. So how to find the balance between these 2 things is something that every educator's got to get our act together and figure this out. Yeah. Yeah. So good to see the 2 of you. So please continue to, you know, enjoy yourself and give us feedback and all that. Yeah. All the best.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Take care. Yeah. Why don't let's wait to say goodbye to everyone. Okay. Good night. Yeah.
I think that no, just
ask me whatever you want. Ask me. I'm not saying that I'm going to answer in the way that you were hoping for.
Well, I would first like to know what is the answer to question 2 of quiz 2, because I have made an Excel sheet, the chart for that, you know, to make the chart, you know, using the course block, because you put the hints, right, and all that. And I just did that for question 2, and my friends and I are still very torn about it.
I can't be this good. I thought that it was.
You came up with that question, right?
Yeah, I wrote all the utilitarianism questions. Sorry, I'm the culprit. Okay.
Yeah.
My advice really is so Jing Xuan, you're doing exactly the right thing, right? So remember how the doctrine works. It's basically saying that, look, you know, that action and whatever its alternative is, right? The alternative can be many things, but whatever, let's just pretend that it's one alternative, right? So if the action brings about, you know, the greatest happiness, the greatest number, compared to the alternative, then it's the right thing to do. So how are you going to do this properly? That means that you better draw a chart. The action and its alternative, what is the outcome compared to the other outcome? Which one is the greatest good or the greatest number? Yeah.
Do you want to see my chart?
You show Nicholas separately.
Oh my God.
Today, someone emailed me with a question, not about this question, and you know, and my reply to him was, good good observation. Let's just say that, okay, but I can't say more, because if I say a bit more, it's going to just be the answer.
Yeah, just among all the tutors, right, we've taken this vow to not talk about the quiz questions. We can answer clarificatory questions, but if there's anything even approaching the answers, right, we'll be very careful about that. Yeah, just to be fair to everybody.
Yeah. The real consideration here is exactly as Nicholas said. We want to be fair to everyone. We don't want people to have like a weird, unfair advantage, so to speak, you see. Yeah. Question 2. You tell me now, which options were you considering?
Okay, let's see. I wrote it down somewhere. Okay. We settled on C, but we were also wondering whether Nico was wrong, kind of, because it depends only on the severity of the damage. I mean, there's varying degrees, you see, because there's net happiness. Because if you only have if you don't shoot the guy and then he makes damage.
I didn't say net anywhere.
Eh?
I didn't say net.
Oh no.
Right, I didn't say net happiness, right.
Look, I say the options are very tricky.
No, the options are as clear as it gets because some people they imagine they see extra word there.
That's why. That's why you have to keep reading into the options and see whether you know.
So this is actually this is the hard skill of the humanities. It's about thinking straight, right? It's about making sure that no, you really mean it. You think that, then the person repeat back to you, say, why are you going to add 5 words in the middle? I didn't say that. Okay.
Actually, yeah, that's true. I think I would like to add something about the quiz, which is for quiz 1, a lot of people really overthought a lot about the questions. They think that, oh my God, there's an underlying meaning. There's a reason why Prof Loy put this. He definitely wants us to think this way, that kind of thing. Try to get into your mindset and all that, but
in a
that's
sense,
not the way, right?
Okay, the problem is that there's something I do, which is that sometimes I help the students by adding clues around. Okay, but your strategy cannot be, let's try to think what Prof Loy is trying to think. No, that doesn't help at all. Yeah, really focus on the thing because when I leave clues, usually the clues are there to push you. It's almost as if okay, look, option A is the correct answer, but let's at least, option B, there's a reason why it's wrong, but maybe we can make it a bit more obvious by adding a few words here, So that's the kind of stuff we do, right? We don't do things that we try to sort of fake it so that you'll be misled in a certain way. No, that's not the way we do it, man. Right? So I would rather advise that people don't try to imagine what is Prof Loy thinking. It doesn't really help. First and foremost, I didn't say all the questions. Some of them, these people are the culprits. Right? And after a while, you're going to realize that maybe there is a consistent person who said one of the questions, because why is it that, there's a certain question that always looks so long or whatever it is, I don't know, right? Or the English come out a certain way, who knows, right? But that's really nothing that you need to worry about because it doesn't really help. Focus on the actual wording of the questions. Give you a quick read first, get a big gist, make sure you catch, okay, what is the question? What is it asking, right? Is it asking some negative or is it positive? Okay, fine. Then you go back and hunt for all the details, right? If you need to revise something, you revise, then you come back, okay? Right, so you're doing the right thing by drawing the chart. But then I suspect that the only thing missing is whether you have paid sufficiently careful attention to what Nico is saying. And what Yi Hao said about overreading is absolutely a big problem. I noticed a lot of students, this many years already, they attribute more meaning to the words than it actually is on the page. It's a very common mistake. Right? The words didn't really say that. You just sort of assume that there are all these things all around it, Yeah, take the words a little bit more minimalistically. Yeah, the context matters, but beyond a certain point, you cannot allow context to elbow you into all kinds of weird stuff. So you got to be careful.
Like just take it as it is, right?
Yeah, take it as it is. Yeah, don't overthink the sort of surely he must mean something else. No. We if we mean it, we will say it. It's a quiz. How can we not do that? Right? So you caught on to the correct word and you added one word that I'm telling you now, not a good idea. I didn't say net anywhere. The other word you noticed was only. only is important.
It goes wrong now.
Right? I mean, if I tell you that whether or not Nicholas is going to win a teaching award only depends upon your student feedback, it's a very different thing from saying that whether he's going to get a teaching award depends on your student feedback.
I mean, on that note, right, the other word that sometimes you might want to be careful of is all.
Yes.
Yeah, because there are many claims in philosophy, it's like all X or Y, right? Which means if I only find one instance that goes against that claim is false.
Yeah.
Or
here's another, this one I can say openly. Sometimes we really try to help you by purposely putting things like certainly, definitely.
Yeah.
Just to
it's a little bit like
that's really
point.
very obvious.
Yeah. No, if you're gonna say definitely, you better be damn sure that it's definitely, because otherwise it's wrong, right? So those things are all meant to kind of help you a little bit, right? Yeah.
I think it's also important to mention that the quiz should be attempted more than once. I mean, I've attempted this quiz like 7 times. Yeah, I mean, it's like,
that's a bit 夸张 lah.
Hey, really? My score got improved.
Of course, I can tell, I can look at the records. No, but the point is, it's not about whether you do it many times. It's rather don't try to rush it. Yeah, don't try to rush it. Browse it first. One time. Then maybe go and discuss with your friends first. Then you change your mind. I have this for my philosophy students for many years already. When I set these kind of questions for the big class in the past, they tell me that sometimes they will go to the discussion very confident that my answers is A, C, and D. Then they realize that I never thought of this. The other guy, whatever the other guy said, I never thought of it before. Now I'm thinking maybe I'm wrong. Right?
Actually,
and
that applies.
That is a very important thing. That is a very, very important part of what it means to learn from your friends. Okay, it doesn't mean that you change your mind, please. It means that thanks for reminding me of this. That I need to think about that. Then you think. Okay, no, it's okay. I'm still good. But thanks for helping me thought of one other possibility which I didn't consider, and then I had to think carefully about how to block it. That's a fantastic opportunity to learn. Yeah.
I think that's what the interdisciplinary the whole thing about CHS wants us to learn as well. To be able to, think of other ways that a single thing can be taught. They look at different perspectives and all that and think of ways to, not really counter them, but rather, okay, how do you put this? Fix the gaps in argument?
Okay, so sometimes it's not about countering, it's about, you can always come out of the encounter still confident of your own beliefs. There's nothing wrong with that. I always tell, please, it's okay. Please don't change your mind just because people tell you some opposite thing. That's terrible, right? You should firmly believe in what you believe in. But when you do encounter differences, it's a great chance because now you can think a bit harder. Why do I believe the things I do? Right? Why do we do the things we do? What do I have to say to this other person? Don't get me wrong. I'm not about to change my processes right now. But thanks for helping me think a bit harder about the things I do, right? It is not impossible that these sort of encounters will make us change our mind. That's okay too. But I'm not even asking people to change their minds. That can happen, but it's not the only thing that must happen. It's actually more important that the encounter forces us to think a bit harder and to see things from multiple perspectives. And then even better outcome will be, okay, I'm not quite changing my mind. I'm not quite sticking to mine, but thanks to what they have done, now I can bring something in that integrates with what I have, and then we do something even bigger now, better now, right? So that's one layer of the encounter that is very important to students, and many of them don't seem to realize. Or they only realize it indirect way. They learn from the friends, and definitely most NUS students will learn from their peers, but they may not realize that that's going on until like much later, right? Yeah. And then the other one, of course, is you figure out who your friends are.
What?
That's a real issue. I mean, I was joking to the philo module. This was 2 years ago. I showed them a chart. Right, during the semester, their quiz scores were slowly going upwards. I said that your batch actually did better than previous batches in the quiz scores. So I said, I have two hypotheses. One is that you all really figure out the learn from each other and discuss together thing. Alternatively, you all figure out who to emulate. Which, by the way, is an important skill in life too.
Both are important, yeah.
Yeah, you know. Yeah, so Jing Xuan, I don't dare to say more because I don't want to. but definitely, as you can tell, Nico is the odd one out because you know, you are now considering C or D, right? So the only thing left is Nico, right? And then my advice is definitely don't overread, but definitely pay attention to the helping words, not helping words, those logical constants that do come out, things like only and all. Definitely be very clear about that. Yeah. How? Anything else?
Not really. How about Yi Hao? Do you have anything?
I try not to think about the quiz too much. It took me a long time to do it. I think if I go back, I'll just.
Hey, by the way, maybe I ask you, is 12 questions too many?
It's fine. It's fine. It's a fine.
I mean, it's fine only because of the fun narrative. Like, I love, yet hate the 4 characters. Faye is always speaking facts. Nico and Lisa, on the other hand, sometimes are very dubious.
Yeah, it's intentional. How come Faye is always like the one that's right?
Yeah, and then my answers are always D. I'm like, wait, hold on.
No. Okay. Sometimes you are just like, okay, you think of the wrong ones first. Then you got to think of the right one. Then of course, Faye is always the last person. So no, don't overthink this, please. One semester, I got some students they are data science students who took the philosophy class. They actually drew a chart. How many times each person get correct. I was like, oh, that was so hilarious.
I would love to see that for this module.
It was in
really.
the Telegram chat. Someone sent it to me and said, "Wow." Then they said, "Wow, we got it." I think it became a meme in the class. We have different characters in that class, right? Yeah, and then other students were like, they tell you, Prof, I don't want to meet anyone named this name anymore because cannot take it anymore.
I don't want to meet someone called Nico who pulls out an OED for no reason, just to order pizza.
Nico is very lame. Nico is very lame.
Yeah, Nico is lame. And then comes the question: are you saying Nico's uncool or physically disabled?
Yeah. We have a lot of fun writing those, I have to say. I have a lot of fun writing those. I didn't come up, that question was not by me, it's by someone else. Yeah. Every time you see a TV show one, it's very likely that it's by me. But
no, the Netflix. Is it? Was it? I can't remember.
No, this is very interesting, right? Because like sometimes I want to. I don't know whether I said this in my tutorials, but narratives are powerful.
Yeah.
This is like real life example, right? I mean,
there is quite a lot of thinking behind why I do it this way. Even though I chanced upon this method, I thought very long and hard about it, and the experimentation convinced me that it does work. I want my students to apply the concepts they learn in a non-clean environment. Right? It is still a controlled environment, don't get me wrong, because it's still a quiz, right? So it cannot be like all over the place. But it's not a clean environment. It's not like which one is the definition. That's too clean already. It must be like there's noise, there's people who's kind of like, talking to each other, being a bit snide, saying nonsensical things. Because I want you all to learn to figure out information and misinformation. This is actually part of the process of what it means to master a concept. You're not distracted.
Seeing how to apply it to our everyday lives as it is in the narrative.
Yes. Yeah, because when you learn a concept, part of what it means is when it applies and when it doesn't apply. How come this is even an issue? Because we often end up either applying or not applying because of noise. Right? So that's why these things are not just for fun, even though it is kind of fun to write them, but but it's not just for fun actually. I want the students to learn to apply the concepts in non-clean environment where there's irrelevant things. So they need to learn to sort through, right? And in a sense, it's not something that is beyond you, because if you get the definition, you will realize that if part of what it means to understand the definitions is exactly that what is not information and what is misinformation. Yeah.
So like how Nico brings up the OED for pizza.
Yeah, whatever, whatever you name it, right? Yeah, but I had students in the past who asked me what happened to the character in the storyline. Because I write a kind of a storyline in a quiz, and then the last one, someone gets shot by an arrow. Don't know whether he's dead or alive. Because that was the last question. I don't want to write any more questions already. So he just then they came.
Took an arrow to the knee.
No, they shot it, and then they come to us, Prof Loy, what happened to him?
Wait, are you gonna shoot the 4 students as well?
No. Only in TV shows, please. Only in TV shows.
Maybe I'll create an Among Us situation.
Yeah, And
But
then
there are only 4 people.
they actually asked me like what happened to the person in the TV show. So during the exam, I actually continued the storyline. He was alive,
Oh yeah, so you have to continue the storyline for the show as well. What happened to Ned Lad? Was he really shot?
Yeah. I definitely will continue the storyline.
Amazing. Thank you.
Okay, we better end. I want to go and rest really.
Yeah, thanks a
Okay.
lot.
But thank you so much.
Thanks so much. Yeah.
Thank you, Prof.
All the best. Take care. Take care.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Take care.
Good night.